Hi Virgo and Virgo Rising, here is your horoscope for August 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, this month we continue the retrograde of Mercury, your ruler here in Leo in the 12th house. And of course, this time of the year we have the sun going through Leo in the 12th house. So many of you are really contemplating the past, or you're working from behind the scenes to improve. Maybe you're focusing on your well-being. Maybe you've got all kinds of creative projects that you're working on from the past. But whatever it is, the past is definitely in the picture here as we start off the month of August because of your ruler being retrograde and the sun being in the 12th house. This 12th house represents not just the spiritual house, but it's the house of limitations. So you find yourself confined at home or not able to be as mobile as you'd like. Again, this is very general, very basic. So if you're a Virgo rising or a Virgo sun sign, this is a very general, basic overview using Western tropical whole house systems, where we put your sign right there on the first house of identity and self, and then the other planets, we see where they're at. So this is how we could tell, generally speaking, what's going on in a Virgo or Virgo rising, placements and in the situation that they find themselves in. Okay, so anyway, but things will change the second half of the month, especially after the 22nd, when the sun leaves Leo and goes into your first house. Now we start off the month with Mars in Virgo. Okay, so this is about, motivation, drive. It's also about self-analyzation. Mars in the first house could make you really analyze yourself, your physical well-being, how others see you, all of that stuff. But Mars is going to switch signs this month and go into Libra in your second house of income. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And that's going to be a big deal because Mars in Libra does not work too well. And I'll explain why. But we also have Venus that just entered Cancer in the 11th house. So this has to do with associations and friendships. And there's a wonderful alignment this month between Venus and Jupiter that's going to happen around the 12th that is very positive and it could be very uplifting. So keep that in mind as well as we do the astrology here. Of course, Uranus has now entered Gemini in the 10th house of career. So this is a total wild card with regards to being in the public or being seen, your status, your job, your responsibilities, and how things are dramatically changing in those areas too. With Uranus there and Pluto in the 6th house of daily routine and health, there's a lot of changes that are taking place here for many of you. So let's dive in a little deeper and see what we find. So here is Mars entering Libra late on the 6th into the 7th, and Mars entering Libra is not a great alignment. This is what's called a detriment in astrology. Mars is this motivated, driven, fiery, get up and go, self-oriented sign, and Libra is the opposite of that. So Mars is a bit confused in this sign. So we'll find ourselves, trying to make decisions and we're not sure what we're doing, or there's more confusion in the mix. And so this is the theme of Mars in Libra. Now, the benefits of Mars in Libra is that we find everything to be fair and trying to be balanced. And we're very much relationship-oriented when Mars is in Libra. Things related to beauty, or looking good, and, being seen in a certain way. This is all under the umbrella of Mars in Libra. But the downside is indecisiveness, especially in the second house. This has a lot to do with our value systems, what we believe, what we value most in our lives. So you'll be questioning all of that. Not only that, the second house has to do with funds and money and investments. So once again, the thoughts of all of those come to mind as well with Mars going through the second house. So be mindful of that as well. Now, the full moon this month is going to be in Aquarius. And this is going to be in your 6th house of health and service and daily routine. Now, the full moon usually brings to light something that, that's been on your mind, or a realization about something or someone. But both of these houses, the 12th and the 6th, are the health houses. One is the psychological health, the spiritual health. The other is the physical health. So you need to be mindful around this time because the energy is kind of wonky the first 10 days of the month with Mercury retrograde, Mars going into Libra, and then this full moon activating this access point between the 6th and the 12th. So it's a tricky time. Pay attention to like things related to blood circulation, because Aquarius rules the blood, and ankles and calves. This is the part of the body that's associated with Aquarius. The moon is associated with the stomach and the chest, those areas. And Leo rules the heart and the spine. So these are areas that you need to be mindful of, or maybe they start acting up, maybe you'll feel a little achy in these areas. So anyway, I'm just tossing that out there as a possibility. Could have something to do with a job too. Maybe you're done with a certain job or a certain routine that you've been doing for years, and you're like, I got to stop this. I got to do something different. That kind of mindset. So this is going to bring something to light there. Now, Mercury finally goes direct on the 11th. So there it is in stationary position before it moves direct, usually about a week or so. And so here we see the clarity starting to return. It won't fully return until the sun enters the first house and Mercury leaves Leo, but it'll start building momentum. Your ideas, your intuition, things will start, firing off on in a better way, and you'll start getting a little bit more clarity coming to you. And this is where the energy starts to shift, like I said, after the first 10 days or so. Now, this is the wonderful alignment that I was talking about. Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer right there. As you can see, the conjunction. They're both together at the same degree in the same sign. And so Cancer is all about emotions, feelings, foundation, home life. The 7th house has to do with community, has to do with hopes and wishes for the future. So maybe you're traveling someplace that it feels like home to you. Maybe you're around people in a community or an organization that really, lifts your spirits. Maybe you're planning your future, Jupiter and Venus, maybe you're coming to some sort of understanding or agreement about current situation you find yourself in terms of your home. Maybe you're helping a friend out, whatever it is, this is very positive energy. And so use it wisely. Okay, and this will be active for, I would say, from the 10th, 11th, 12th, and even into the 13th and 14th, because they'll still be close to each other. And I'd say take advantage of that energy, one way or another, whether it's just enjoying yourself by the pool, spending time with loved ones, enjoying your home, remodeling, whatever. But it's a good energy. It's a very positive energy, so take advantage of it. Now, all the dynamics start to change when the sun enters Virgo on the 22nd, late on the 22nd into the 23rd. As you can see here, the sun enters the first house. First house is identity and self. It's how others see you. With the sun there, it basically makes you more creative. You feel more motivated. You should feel better because the sun is now going through Virgo. And of course, there's also a new moon in Virgo. So this is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, either physically or psychologically, or maybe you're starting something new with a friend, or you're starting to think in a different way, and your persona is changing. And so this is the benefit of this time of the year when you have the new moon and the sun in Virgo right there in that first house of identity and self. So again, take advantage of these opportunities when the alignments are favorable, which means do something that you ordinarily wouldn't do when the alignments are favorable. Then we have Venus entering Leo on the 26th right there. Now, this is not a big deal, but it is a creative alignment. Venus in Leo could be very creative in the 12th house. This is all about connections from the past, very nostalgic, the 12th house. But we see here we have Mercury, your ruler there, and now we have Venus there. So we're seeing communications, your mind being extremely active at this time, but it's also very creative, as I keep emphasizing, because the sun is in the first, now Venus is in Leo. And so maybe you're seeking a little more attention from your loved ones. Maybe you're doing something financially that nobody knows about, that kind of stuff, because Venus rules finances as well. But there is an alignment that you need to be very careful of. As soon as Venus enters Leo, it opposes powerful Pluto right here. So this is a little bit of a challenge. Could have something to do with expenses, medical bills, maybe a partnership. And there's this push and pull going on here because oppositions bring in tension. And so we need to be careful around this time frame. Now, once Venus passes there, which is usually a couple of days or so, the alignment is not in effect anymore. It loses its energy. And so this could be a time to get back on track and resolve any minor issues that you might have gotten yourself involved in. Okay, so that's how it works. Anyway, there's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended horoscope in my inner circle community, as you can see here. I also do the weekly astrology for the members, which they really enjoy. Every Sunday, we're on a Zoom call, and we interact. I tell them what's going on in the world. We dive deep into all kinds of things, from conspiracies, UFOs, political nonsense, all of that stuff. And of course, I talk a lot more freely in the community than I can on YouTube. So anyway, consider joining. There's a free 7-day trial. There's a link down below. Check it out, and hope to see you in the community. Anyway, have a great month, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.